Every prepper list covers the same items: water, food, flashlight, batteries. You already know those. This list is different. These are the 13 items that disappear from store shelves in the first 6 hours of a serious grid collapse. Not because everyone knows they need them, but because the small number of people who actually understand emergencies clean them out immediately. By the time most people realize these items exist, they are gone. Item 7 on this list is the one that will surprise you most. Stay with it. Top 1. Pool Shock Calcium Hypochlorite Granules. While every person within 20 miles is fighting over the last bottle of water from the grocery aisle, the pool supplies section sits completely untouched. One bag of Pool Shock granules, calcium hypochlorite, at 68% concentration, purifies up to 10,000 gallons of drinking water. That is enough clean water for a family of 4 for nearly 14 years. A fraction of a teaspoon per gallon treats water to safe drinking standards. It stores indefinitely. The people who know about this walk straight past the water aisle to pool supplies, the section that still has stock at hour 6. Top 2. Baby Wipes Unscented Sealed Multi-Packs. Full sanitation capability with 0 water required. One sealed pack handles personal hygiene, wound surface cleaning, cooling during heat stress, and basic surface disinfection. They disappear from baby aisles while the survival section is stripped because nobody connects them to emergency preparedness. Hygiene is not a comfort issue. Infected wounds in a grid-down environment without medical access become life-threatening within days. Unscented is the specification that matters. Scented versions contain compounds that irritate open wounds. Top 3. Contractor Garbage Bags 6mm black, not standard household. Standard trash bags are useless in a real emergency. The 6mm contractor grade is a different tool entirely. Waterproof shelter layer, rain poncho in 60 seconds, ground barrier, water collection, waste management, gear protection. One box of 10 bags costs $4 and covers more scenarios than survival gear costing 10 times more. Standard bags tear under lateral stress. 6mm contractor bags hold body weight. Stock the specific grade. Top 4. Super glue Cyanoacrylate. The medical grade formulation, specifically cyanoacrylate, is the same compound used in field surgery for wound closure when sutures are unavailable. Applied to a clean laceration, it seals the wound faster than any bandage and holds under physical stress. Beyond medical use, it bonds broken gear, reseals cracked boot soles, and seals cracked containers. A $2 tube outperforms $20 of standard first aid supplies for acute injuries. It never appears on emergency lists because it sounds too ordinary. That is exactly why it is still on the shelf when everything else is gone. Top 5. Wool socks. Specifically wool, not cotton, not synthetic blends. Cotton socks absorb moisture and hold it against skin. 2 miles in wet cotton socks produces blisters. 4 miles produces open wounds. 6 miles makes walking genuinely difficult. Wool regulates temperature, resists odor, and critically insulates even when completely saturated. Every grid collapse or evacuation scenario that requires walking any significant distance runs directly through the quality of what is on your feet. The sporting goods wool sock section empties by hour 4 of any serious emergency. Own 3 pairs before you need them. Top 6. Hand crank AM and FM radio. Not a phone app, not a battery-powered model, specifically hand crank. Cell towers operate on backup power measured in hours. Internet infrastructure fails faster than most people expect under grid stress. A hand crank radio requires no batteries, no charging infrastructure, and no network connectivity of any kind. AM broadcast towers run on independent backup power systems that operate for weeks after grid failure. Emergency coordination frequencies, weather alerts, and public safety announcements all broadcast on AM and FM bands regardless of what the internet is doing. In the first 6 hours of a grid collapse, a hand crank radio is the only reliable source of verified information. Every other source depends on infrastructure that is failing simultaneously. Top 7. Printed personal contact book. Every phone number and address you depend on written by hand or printed on paper kept in a waterproof sleeve. Every number you know is locked inside a device that needs power and a working network. The average person can recall 2 or 3 numbers from memory in an emergency requiring family coordination. That is a complete failure of the plan. Paper costs nothing. A waterproof sleeve costs $1. Writing down the numbers of every person who matters takes 5 minutes and is the single highest return action on this entire list. Nobody does it. Nobody. Top 8, fishing line and hooks. 30 meters of 20 layers of monofilament in a 10-pack of size 8 hooks. Protein acquisition capability that fits in a jacket pocket and costs $2. Monofilament also works as a near-invisible perimeter, trip wire around a rest position. Combined weight under 1 ounce. Combined cost under $2. In a grid-down scenario where food access is uncertain, this is the highest calorie per dollar item on this entire list. Top 9, baking soda. A large sealed box, not a small kitchen container. 1 box, 8 functions. Wound cleaning. Dental hygiene without water. Grease and electrical fire suppression. Odor control. Surface disinfectant. Digestive treatment. Water alkalinity adjustment. Costs $1, weighs 12 oz. Replaces 8 separate products. The reason it disappears from stores in the first 6 hours is not that people panic by it. It is that the small number of people who understand what it does buy every box on the shelf immediately. Top 10. Work gloves, leather palm, cut-resistant, full finger coverage. Every physical emergency task destroys unprotected hands within 30 minutes. Moving debris, handling broken glass, operating tools under load. An infected hand wound with no accessible medical care is scenario ending. Work gloves disappear from hardware stores by hour 3, and nobody notices until they pick up something sharp. Leather palm specifically. Synthetic gloves compress under grip and provide no cut protection. Top 11, heavy-duty aluminum foil, the thick commercial-grade roll. Faraday protection for small electronics wrapped in multiple tight layers. Cookware replacement. Any food cooked in a foil pouch over any heat source. Signaling mirror substitute. Heat reflection for shelter insulation. Water collection funnel. Food preservation by sealing airtight. One $4 roll covers more emergency functions than most dedicated gear. Standard kitchen foil tears under any real use. The commercial grade holds. The distinction matters. Top 12. High-proof spirits, sealed bottle of vodka or whiskey, 80 proof minimum. Nobody puts this on a list because it sounds irresponsible. It belongs here because it is honest. Wound antiseptic, fire accelerant in wet conditions. The most stable barter currency in any extended disruption does not expire. No refrigeration needed. Recognize value to anyone. Morale management during extended high-stress scenarios is a real physiological need that nothing else on this list addresses. Disappears from liquor stores within 2 hours of any serious emergency announcement. Top 13, duct tape. Original silver fabric-backed, not the cheap plastic film knockoff. If you own one item from this entire list and nothing else, make it this one. Structural shelter repair. Waterproofing cracked containers. Blister prevention applied directly to skin before walking. Wrapping high friction points before the blister forms eliminates the injury. Emergency wound closure. Binding splints. Sealing broken windows. The fabric-backed original holds under sustained stress. Cheap plastic film versions peel within hours under moisture or heat. The specification is the difference between a tool and a prop. 13 items. None of them on any standard prepper list. Gone within 6 hours. Not because everyone panics and buys them, but because the small number of people who think clearly in advance have already taken them before the panic starts. The gap between prepared and unprepared is not money. It is information acted on before it is needed. The next video covers exactly what military veterans do in the first 60 minutes of a confirmed grid collapse, the specific action sequence that determines every outcome that follows. If you do not have that sequence before you need it, none of the 13 items we just covered will matter. If this information changed the way you look at your emergency supplies, please subscribe and like the channel. We are uncovering the survival strategies that others try to ignore. Prepare your future today. The next essential guide